Homework 7, number 5. In this problem, you're told that to find the largest or smallest entry of a vector, you can use the function max or min. Suppose that these functions are not available, how would you calculate um, the largest and smallest number of a vector or an array? Okay, let's navigate to MATLAB here. Here we go. And okay, let's go to MATLAB. Okay, so let's say you have an array of numbers here, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, whatever, and you want to find the maximum and minimum numbers in this array. So the problem is telling you could use MATLAB has an inbuilt sort of functionality where I can write max A, gonna give me the maximum number, and min A, which is gonna give me the minimum number. And in this problem, you're being asked how to do it without actually using these. So logically, the way you would approach this problem is that you're gonna compare the elements to each other, right? Logically, I need to compare 3 to 1. Is 3 larger than 1? Yes. So I move on to the next one. Is 3 larger than 4? No. So now 4 is my largest number. Is 4 larger than 1? Yes. Is 4 larger than 5? No. 5 is my largest number. Is 5 larger than 9? Yes. Sorry, no. So now 9 is my largest number. Is 9 larger than minus 2? Yes. Is 9 larger than 6? Yes. 9 larger than 5? Yes. Is 9 larger than 15? No. So now 15 is my largest number all the way until I'm done with this array. And similarly for the minimum number, similar logic, I need to compare the elements to each other. So as you can see, I'm doing the same operation or the same comparison multiple times over the length of the array. So it makes sense to use a loop to do this for you. So let's open a new script. So let's open a new script here. So I have one up here, and I'm going to copy this array A, and then I'm going to create a for loop for I equals 1 to length of A. And length of A basically will run this over the length of this array over the number of elements here. So if you go to your command window and you write length A, you're going to see that A has 13 elements. So I'm going back to my script and I'm writing a comment here. So what this line does is it runs a loop for runs a loop as many times as the number of elements in the array, right? So basically I'm going to run this loop. So if you add more numbers, add more numbers, remove numbers, whatever, you don't really need to count it every time you want to run this loop. It will automatically run it over the entire length of the array. So what does this loop do? I want to compare every element. So let's say I'm going to compare AI to a number to see if it's the largest number. So what should I compare it to? So in this type of approach, it's always, or a very common practice is to create a buffer variable, right? I'm going to create a sort of a storage space on the side where I'm going to keep my largest number in it. So let's create a new variable here before the loop. Let's call it largest underscore number. Just, spelling, etc. Number, here we go. Gonna set it to 0. So initially, this variable has a value of 0. And then I'm gonna compare it to AI. So let's see. So if AI is greater than the largest number, then I want this greater value to be stored in the space called largest number. Okay, and then end. So here I need to have an if statement, and I'm gonna have another end. So this is basically part A. So what you're doing here is you're comparing every element to this largest number variable and then storing the largest number in this variable. So if you think about it, if I'm running through this loop, first value I equals 1. So if A of 1 which is 3. If 3 is larger than the largest number, which is now 0, so now the largest number will be equal to 3, right? Because 3 is greater than 0, so now largest number is equal to 3. Then it ends, goes back up again, I becomes 2. If a of 2, which is 2, is greater than largest number, which is now 3, it's not, so it's going to end, go back up, I now becomes 3. If a of 3, so in this case a of 3 is 4, is greater than largest number, which is 3, then yes, it is greater, so now the largest number becomes equal to 4. So it will go throughout your loop until it finds the largest number. Logically, you can repeat the same thing for part B. So for part B, I can do the same thing for I equals 1 to length of A. If A of I is less than, and again, I need to create this storage space, so I'm going to create a variable above the loop, before the loop, call it smallest number, and I'm going to, so for smallest number, I'm going to create infinity. I'm just going to initialize it to infinity. You can initialize it to 10,000 or any number you want. But the logic here is, if you're running this sort of approach over an array of numbers, over a very large array of numbers, which you don't necessarily know if it has zeros or if it has negatives, then if I set my smallest number to 0, for example, and the actual smallest number is equal to 1, it will not be able to catch the smallest number in the array. So it's always good practice to set your the initial value in your smallest number or smallest storage space to a very large number to make sure the loop is successful. So if AI is less than this smallest number, I'm gonna set the smallest number to be equal to AI. Okay? And then I'm gonna end my if and end my for. And at the very end of these loops, I'll just show my two results, which are largest number and smallest number. Here we go. And so basically, if you run this, it's going to ask you to save it. Make sure to save your script somewhere where you can find it easily. So I'm going to save it as HW7 number 5, let's call it AB. Okay. Save it and then add it to the path, whatever you need to do, and just run your loop. And if you can see, if you run it, it will be able to capture your largest number and the smallest number. Largest number is 15, smallest number is -9. And we can test it, so I can add a bunch more numbers. I could add 16 and -10. And if I rerun this loop, it's going to catch the largest number to be 16 and the smallest number to be -10. You can make it -1055. It will still be able to catch it because logically the logic makes sense. It's comparing every element it's basically comparing every element to the current largest number or the current smallest number and then saving that largest or smallest number.